So you're thinking about living in Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys. Well, in this video, Leslie and I are going to have a discussion with you about the pros
and the cons
of living in 4 small towns between Stuarts Draft and Lexington, Virginia. And if you hang around to the end of this video, Leslie and I are going to take on actual resident comments from one of these towns, and we're going to share with you our thought and how those comments fall in line to what we believe. So hang around, because you definitely don't want to miss out on that.
You
But let's go ahead and get started right now.
If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in towns in between or in larger towns here in the valley, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We will be happy to discuss with you your potential move to the valley or away from the valley. We would love to discuss that with you.
Well, if you haven't seen us before, my name is Stephen.
And I'm Leslie.
And we get a lot of phone calls all the time from folks that are looking to move into the area or move across town or even to sell their home in the area. And I know that Leslie and I, we love to help those folks when they give us a call. So whether you're looking to move in
9 days or 90 days, doesn't matter.
Just pick up the phone, give us a call. Shoot us a text, send us an email. That information's all in the description down below, and we will be happy to help you sell your home or to move into a home here in Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys. So as I mentioned in today's video, we're going to talk about 4 towns between Stuarts Draft and Lexington, Virginia. And going from north to south, those towns are...
Okay, we've got Greenville, Rine, Fairfield, and Buena Vista.
Very good. You're directionally challenged.
I am very directionally challenged.
She's learning, folks. She's learning. So, but like I say, we're going to look at those 4 towns. We're going to give you the pros and the cons of those towns. And I think let's just go ahead and start out with the pros. So let's start on a positive. What would you say whenever you drive up Highway 11 or whether you're driving up Interstate 64, 81, what do you always think about?
Mountain views and pastoral. It is just so beautiful. The more you drive on Route 11, the closer you get to those mountains or the closer they get to you, whichever way you want to look at it. It is beautiful driving that way.
Yeah, it is. And just some of the settings of some of the homes. We were, a matter of fact, we were just at somebody's home yesterday who's actually building a new home. And that home, I mean, it just has some absolutely amazing views. And in the evening, when we sat there and ate dinner, it was just an absolutely amazing show of colors that we have here at this time of year here in the valley. And so there's some beautiful views. And of course, there's other beautiful views in the valley, but that drive up Highway 11 in that area is really nice, nice view. I think another pro of the area is the fact that it's a rural area. Now, if you're looking to live in a big city, it's not going to be a good thing for you. No. But if you're looking to get out, as a lot of people do, you're looking to get out and find some land and potential build site for a home, or a home that's already on potential, on property, you're going to find more of those opportunities here in southern Augusta County and in Rockbridge County than you are around a major city, obviously, or one of the towns out here. And I know Leslie's sold several homes to some of the folks in these rural areas. And what do those folks tell you when they move into that? Really, I know the one sent you pictures of the sunsets and the mountains on both sides. I mean, what are some of the things they really like when they move into those houses?
Just the peaceful setting. I mean, they can have chickens, they can have, a few goats if you want, and it's just wrapping up a suburban feel, but it's not a suburban feel. It's more of a rural feel out there. And they just love their views. They get a morning view and an evening view of the sunset, and it's just beautiful. Yeah.
And it's not...
There's just really no way to describe those views unless you come and see them.
And it's not like it's isolated, totally. I mean, you have other people who are around you, and I mean, depending on what the area that you live in, I mean, and how much acreage you have, things like that. But there's other people. It's not like you're driving 5 or 10 miles or 2 or 3 miles. That's why I said it's kind of like a suburban
feel, but more rural suburbia.
Yeah, there you go. It's definitely rural. Some of the population counts are pretty low in some of those areas, but per square mile. But like I say, it's if you want a place that you have people around, but they're not right around, then these are some good towns. The areas around these towns is pretty good. I think a third thing though is quick access to Interstate
Yes.
64, 81. As you can see on the map here,
Yes.
I mean, it's...
You're going to have quick in and out access of 64 and 81 there. You know, a lot of people who I sell homes to want something within 10-15 minutes of 64 or 81, and you can get that in any of these towns.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, along with that, though, I would say one of the cons of living in these towns is the fact that sometimes, depending on which town you're in, you're going to be looking at a longer travel time to get groceries or to go shopping somewhere. If you're going to get into town to a Target or a Walmart or someplace like that, or a Costco, you know, that's Costco up in Harrisonburg, but that's a long way away, or down in Roanoke. But like I say, just some of your everyday activities are going to take you longer. For example, if you're in Greenville, you're going to travel about 20 minutes to get to Stanton and to go shopping there. If you're in Rafine, you know, it's another 5 or 10 minutes. If you're in Fairfield, it's actually closer to go to Lexington. And Lexington's a small town, doesn't have everything, so some of that you have to come back into Augusta.
Walmart,
they do.
Groceries,
and Lowe's, things like
Food
that.
Lion,
They do.
Kroger.
But what I'm saying is you're going to have to drive, even Buena Vista. There's some small mom and pop type stores there and things like that. But if you're looking for a chain type store where you want to buy clothing, or whether you're going to buy groceries, now Buena Vista has some grocery store, but you're going to be driving to 10 or 15 at least, maybe 20 minutes.
Cities.
Yeah, 20 minutes to get something. So that is something to keep in mind if you're wanting to live in those areas. Of course, if you're wanting to live in a rural area, that probably is not going to matter a whole lot to you anyway, because that's where you want to be. So for the next 3 pros, I'm going to go ahead and list them, but I've already talked about them in the map video that I did, which gives you a lot more detailed information. So I would encourage you, if you want that detailed information, go to that video and take a look at that, because I really break it down a lot more and kind of give you some good information, I think, about the towns if you're interested in living there. But those 3 things are, first of all, a cost of living, a lower cost of living, and a lower cost of housing. For example, housing in these towns can range anywhere from about 5 or 6% below the national average down to 27% below the national average in Buena Vista. So those are definitely some things that are pros if you're looking for holding on to more of your money. And so another thing, though, is safety. Crime rates can be very manipulative, I guess you could say, and a lot of times you can make numbers say what they want, but overall, these towns have low crime rates and they are very safe towns in which to live. And then thirdly, the last thing I'd like to talk about, we will talk about this one a little bit, and that is school size and the quality and interaction that you have in the schools. They're smaller towns, and so most of the schools are not huge schools with 2 or 3 or 5,000 students in them. And so that really is good, and you can see that when I talk about the map video, that all of these schools are good schools here ranked in the state of Virginia. And but I want Leslie to talk a little bit in selling some homes to some folks with children, and that is, in a smaller town like that, and that smaller town atmosphere doesn't mean it's a backwoods atmosphere, but just a smaller town atmosphere. What do you find people saying about what they like about the schools in this area?
Well, for example, in Fairfield, they have one of the newer schools that have been built recently. And one of my buyers loved going into the schools, checking them out, making sure it was going to be a good fit for their children. And they love it there. They love the interaction, the teacher-to-child ratio, the fact that they can get involved in the PTA or any of the events that go on at those schools, and they become a part of the community. They're plugged in to that community and all the things that are going on there. Bake sales, they can bake all their goodies and take them into the school and sell them there. And they just love that interaction. So I encourage you to go to the sites that we have mentioned, that Stefan has mentioned before. Check out for yourself all of the schools there, and make sure that it's going to fit your needs and what you're looking for your children.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice, Leslie, and the fact that it's that personal experience, that personal touch, that personal feel, and knowing you can have that with your kids, it's a really nice thing. And so, all right, so we've mentioned a bunch of pros, but we kind of left the cons out. Okay,
we don't like to talk about the negative things, but are there really negative things about living in these 4 small towns?
Yeah, there are,
Yes.
and I would say one of those things is a lack of jobs. obviously it's not a huge metropolitan area, right?
In those towns.
So again, you're going to travel to one of the nearby towns. Maybe not, but more than likely you're going to travel to one of the nearby towns in order to have a job. And so if you don't want to travel, if you're a person that likes to have your home and your job right across the street or just down the road from you, then it's probably isn't going to be the place. But like I say, there's not as many jobs as in a larger area. And then I'd also like to talk about Buena Vista in particular, because that's the largest city of the four, right? And it's one of Virginia's independent cities, about 6,600 population. And I would say that Buena Vista is in a time of transition. It's had its highs and lows throughout the years, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but in the late 1800s, Buena Vista was a boom town. It sprang up almost overnight, and for multiple different reasons. Of course, it was near the Maury River as well, and so that helped with transportation, things like that. The railroad came through there as well. And so it boomed in the early 1900s, but then in the late 1900s and mid to late 1900s even, there were a lot of industries. There was a lot of blue collar work there in town, and some of those factories and places like that, as is so common across many parts of the United States, they closed or moved to other places. There are still a couple industries there like that. Modine is one of those, and but like I say, a lot of those closed down. And of course, when that happened, as tends to happen in the towns, that it's an economic hit on those towns. And so that is something about Buena Vista that is a negative. I think they are focused though, and even in the last few years, we've seen things
working on growing.
Yeah, the downtown area and things like that. And so I think, like I say, it's a town in transition, and I think it's definitely in the growth stage.
Okay, so as Stefan was saying about Buena Vista being economically challenged in some respects there in that area, hand in hand with that goes to a lot of older homes there in Buena Vista and the lower price of the homes. And some of the challenges that go with that are people looking to purchase those homes and the condition that some of those homes could be in. So yes, they could be a lower price, but the challenge there is you've got to be willing to renovate some of the homes in order to make them more appealing to you maybe, but it's a great place to get your foot in the door if you're a first-time home buyer and the condition of the home may need new wallpaper or wallpaper taken down or new paint colors and things like that. That can be a little bit more challenging, but you can definitely get a better deal there.
Now, you make it sound like every home's that way.
No, not all the homes are that way. There are more than, I guess, in some of the other towns. Let's say that there's more of an opportunity there in Buena Vista, but you can find more affordable homes there.
Yeah, and some of the homes there, those older homes like that, during its boom period, have been fixed up and are very, very nice residences. The wraparound porches and just a lot of the historical thing. They're very beautiful. And so, like Leslie said, though, it gives you an opportunity if you're into renovating and things like that. I know that some of those homes have been transitioned into duplexes and quadruplexes, triplexes, that type of thing for renters. But like I say, those homes are there. But there's also single-family homes. I sold a ranch single-family home there a couple of years ago, and it's like $140,000, so 3-bedroom, 1 bath. So,
and I just sold one in Racy Acres.
Yep.
And the beauty of that home, it was a 2-story home. It needed some updating in it, and the couple that bought it, they were like, super excited. It was their first home, and they're in the process of doing some renovations to it to update it. But they were able to get a large enough house for their family at an affordable price.
In a great neighborhood and a great setting as well. And so, like I say, there's all kinds of opportunities there, whether you want a home that is fixed up with turnkey ready to go, whether you're looking for a remodel home, or they're looking for a historical older home, maybe a newer home, a starter home. there's a lot of opportunities in Buena Vista, and especially to get in there very affordably as well. So we talked about that a long time.
We did.
Okay, and so. But, I guess that's part of the video, though, is kind of being as clear as we can to folks who may not know the area so that they get a little bit of understanding of what it's like.
Or the opportunities that are there.
Yep. So let's go ahead then. And so let's talk about the nightlife in Buena Vista. Go out and party, right? Well, I wouldn't say that Buena Vista or any of the towns are known for its nightlife. Now, there's certain wineries around. They have parties and events and things like that, which are really, really nice and a lot of fun.
Buena Vista does have events. It's got a couple of parades a year and some things that happen downtown.
It has the events, you're right, and the downtown things. I'm thinking about like more on a nightly or a daily type thing. You know, I'm going to come out and do this or that, and like
there's so many wine trails and cider trails.
Well, I know I said in one of the videos I was like, I'm not a party animal that I'd done recently, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. I mean, but like I say, it's a slower town. It's like a more rural town that is just chilling. and so are all of the towns. So like I say, are there things to do? Like Leslie was saying, yes, plenty of things to do, but it's not like the big time city doing those types of things. Man, okay, Leslie, that's enough cons. I'm tired. Let's talk about some more pros.
All right, how about a place for great recreation things?
Oh, no doubt.
Okay, so Maury River's right there. What are you going to do on a river? Kayak, swim, float, all those things. Sing. No, I don't swim. So, what about the Blue Ridge Parkway? What can we say about that?
Yeah, it's beautiful, especially this time of year. And I was up on Skyline Drive, not quite the Blue Ridge, a couple days ago, and it's just absolutely beautiful up there. But like I say, you got the Appalachian Trail, you got hiking, you got bicycling, you've got camping. And one of the places in Buena Vista, Glen Maury Park, which is a park and is a campground there, right along the Maury River, and it is just a really neat place, and a lot of different parks and recreational stops in Rockbridge County itself, and just it is an outdoors person paradise, really. There's just so much to do there, and such an enjoyable place to be, and to enjoy all the outdoor activities.
So if you're an outdoorsy person,
that is definitely a pro. So all right, Leslie, let's talk about one more pro here before we get to our list of what people said. Okay, and that is Virginia is a great place to retire.
It is.
It is. Now,
we're not retired.
Not yet. Okay, probably another 30 years or so, and since we're only 29, but yeah, it is a great place to retire. And one of the reasons is because Virginia has incredibly low retirement taxes. As a matter of fact, Virginia exempts all Social Security income from its state taxes. So that's pretty cool. And another thing is that it also provides a tax deduction up to $12,000 on all other forms of retirement and income, like a 401k or an IRA, those types of things. So when it comes to retiring in Virginia, that's the taxes thing is a really neat thing.
For anyone who's 65 and above?
Yes, for 65 and above, exactly. And
we're not there yet.
And another thing is also that Virginia, according to the surveys you look at, it's actually been ranked as definitely one of the top states to retire to for multiple reasons, including its beauty and taxes and things like that. But this survey said it was the #1 place to retire to.
I like that survey.
And I always used to say, like I say, we're not retired, but I always used to say, if I could retire somewhere, I would retire here in the Shenandoah Valley. And we are here, and retirement is probably 30 years away yet. but we are definitely looking to retirement here and just enjoying all of God's creation around us.
So as a matter of fact, speaking of retirement age people and them moving to the area, I got a notification this morning from one of my buyers that he got first place in the cross country, or anyway, it was a marathon, I guess I should say.
Probably a 5K, right?
It was a 5K, actually.
Okay.
I'm not a runner, obviously. But he is like loving the new opportunities that he has around here to get into these events, and he's knocking it out of the park in his age bracket. So way to go.
So at the beginning of the video, Leslie and I told you that we were going to take some real reviews by real people in one of these towns and share with you what we thought about their reviews of this town. So if you go on to niche.com, that's where we pulled these 5 reviews from. And so again, real people. And Leslie, yes, what is your impression on this 4-star review, first of all? Okay.
All right.
It says, love the small town charm, but really run down in a lot of areas. However, it seems as though the city is working on building it back up.
Okay, that's basically everything that we talked about before that comment. Yes, we hit the building it back up, slightly run down. Yes, all of those things there, and it looks like they're trying to build it back up and revitalize it.
Yep,
I think it's pretty
I'm right
accurate.
there with you. I do too. All right, so here's another one for you. This one gets 3 stars. Okay, it's a very cute small town that has small town vibe. It has a few small attractions and stores, but overall not a lot to do. There are a few really cute small shops that you will see the same people out all the time, and it has a great community feel. It is a college town with Southern Virginia University at the center of town, but it is not a big party college, so it is very quiet.
Very accurate.
Okay.
I mean, if you do go into those stores, you're going to see the same proprietors in there, same people behind the cash register. There's not much turnover. A lot of the people go into those stores, same people. So yeah, it's a very small town. If you want to plug into a community and you want a community vibe, absolutely.
You don't think Southern Virginia is Southern Virginia University a party school?
No.
Definitely not.
You're not going to go to college there because they're a party.
That's exactly right.
All right, Stefan. Are you ready for a negative review? This one only has 1 star.
Do I have a choice?
No.
Okay.
We're going to read it. So, I've lived in Buena Vista my whole life. It has beautiful views. But this town has no future. There's not many jobs, and it's so run down. The people outside of SVU aren't the friendliest people, and the schools aren't the best. People are trying to leave so they won't be stuck here. I got out, and I'm glad I did. I don't recommend living here unless you are an SVU student attending school here.
Well, that was quite a bit of information in there, and obviously he's lived here his whole life, and that's his impression that he has, and I certainly respect that. I can't say that I agree with it 100%. I do think that we did talk about there are some areas of the town where it's trying to revitalize, and business has left the area, and it's kind of affected the town in that way. So I would agree with him in that area. As far as people being friendly in the town, that's not been something I've experienced. I mean, I guess it depends who you've met and who you run with, but I've not experienced that being in Buena Vista. Some good friends of ours, several good friends of ours live in Buena Vista, and it's just I don't get that. Another things he talks about the schools. Well, I guess maybe depending on what data you're pulling or whatever, but he definitely did not. I mean, the data that I show on the schools, and as I talk to people, they like the smaller schools, and not that they don't have some of their issues and things like that, but I think overall. The schools there seem to be pretty good, and comparatively, and then, like I say, I wouldn't give it a 1-star review. I think Buena Vista has much more to offer than a 1-star review, but I think you're going to give me another 1-star review here, aren't you?
I am. So now that we're on a 1-star review roll here, let's go with one more. All right. I've lived in Buena Vista my whole life. I am currently trying to leave before I get stuck here. The only thing this place has going for it is the view. Drugs are bad. The school system is a disaster. Taxes are entirely too high. There is absolutely nothing for younger people to do here. This isn't a place to raise a family.
Well, that's another negative. It's going to be now we brought 2 negatives up. It's going to sound like we don't like Buena Vista, and I disagree with that. But I mean, there are some things that he says here. I mean, I guess if you're in a small town and you're wanting to get out and experience the world and do other things, I mean, we both left small communities where we grew up, and not because we disliked them, but because we wanted different opportunities. So maybe in his case, he's looking for a different opportunity that Buena Vista doesn't have to offer.
Right.
At the same time, he talks about drugs being bad. That's actually not the case. If you look at the Buena Vista and Rockingham County, they're pretty much right around the middle average of Virginia as far as drug arrests. And of course, when we're talking about arrest records, does that mean the police are doing a better job there in other areas and arresting more people? Or does it mean that there's more drugs there, or both? And, you know, it could. But like I say, Rockingham County and Buena Vista are both pretty much close to the average in the state of Virginia. And one thing about the state of Virginia, Virginia is the 11th best state in the United States when it comes to drug use or drug incarcerations and arrests. And so you're already looking at something that's way above the average, and then you're kind of around average on that. So are there drugs there? I think there's drugs about everywhere in our country nowadays. But I don't think that it's as bad as that this statement would lead us to believe. As far as younger people to do, again, there's a lot of outdoor activities. There are community centers down in Buena Vista as well. Again, not like big city areas where there's huge things to do, but it's community atmosphere, and you're going to definitely find things to do there. As far as raising a family there, I'd have no problem raising my family there. I think it's one of those places where I would feel very comfortable and safe doing that. All right, boy, you really put me through it with those 1-star reviews, didn't you? So,
sorry about that.
All right, let's finish with a 5-star review. And here we go. Ready? Amazing little town with tons of outdoor opportunities. Very large park and golf course. Lots of hiking trails. You can walk or bike anywhere in town, and there is even a trail by the river that shortens the walk from folks on one end to the other. I would say this is a good review as well. I do have one issue, though. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, the golf course closed, which we hated that.
It was a sad day.
It's one of the most amazing views of any golf course I've ever played, and it's probably not going to reopen, at least anytime soon, for public use, or certainly in the form that it was before. But anyway, when this person's talking about outdoor opportunities, or the things we've talked about, things to do,
park.
and it's again, it's perspective. You see the different perspective of the 1-star reviews versus the perspective of the 5-star reviews. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of where we live is what we make it to be. And I personally, I like Buena Vista as a nice little town to live in. So, like I say, that's our take on it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope it's given you some insight into the towns between Stuarts Draft and Lexington. And if you're interested in selling your home or purchasing a home, Leslie, what do they need to do?
They just need to pick up that phone and give us a call. Shoot us a text. Send us that email. We'd be happy to talk to you about selling or buying in any of those towns or anywhere up and down the Shenandoah Valley.
So here from a beautiful fall day, until next time, we will see you around town.